Alright, welcome. So today we have Bellona. She's been very much so requested, so let's get right into it, talking about her abilities. Now, overall, her kit and just the way she plays is, in general, you probably want to build more of a tanky type build. Warriors right now in the meta are more of like another front line, additional to your support or whatever. So you're going to be taking a lot of damage as Bellona and as most warriors, and you want to absorb that damage, deal some damage back, apply some CCs, and hopefully get some picks. So you're looking for some defensive items, and with Frostbound Hammer, that's definitely a core item you want for most of your warriors, just to stick to your target and make sure you can actually be useful. And then you could probably throw in maybe one or two damage items, mostly Shin Size is ideally pretty much the go-to damage item. Power, attack speed, which you can make really good use of with your passive, and as well as the passive on Shin Size or Kin Size, whatever you want to call it. It acts as ideally your health penetration type item, since you typically don't have room for like Titan's Bane or anything like that. Now, as far as level priority for, let's just say like solo laning, I honestly don't know the best route because I don't play Bellona. My guess would be just to max out your 2 first, because you can hit all 6 minions, and that's probably your fastest clear. And as well as after you do your initial slam, it turns your auto attacks, for 1, does more damage, and 2, it can hit multiple enemies at a time. So that's pretty much your go-to clearing. After that, I'll probably say Scourge for the healing, and then your 1, and then Ultimate at all times, or you could probably skip some levels from Eagle's Rally, since typically you only use it for that 1 second stun and for the leap effect. And you could probably skip some levels on that and try to max out your bludgeon first. That would be my guess. But enough of that, let's just go into actually building Bellona. Starting with solo lane, the starter item, which you definitely want to have, is the Death's Toll. Now, reason why this over, let's say, Bluestone Pennant, for 1, it gives you 90 health. Early game, that's quite a bit. Next, that passive is really great sustain, and just like I mentioned before, your 2, your bludgeon can hit multiple enemies at a time, therefore it procs Death's Toll multiple times, so you can get a lot of sustain with that. And also, of course, your Scourge every 3rd attack will grant you some healing. So let's go into Death's Toll. After that, you definitely want to have some boots, because you definitely want to move around and go with the warrior tabby boots. After that, in the solo lane, most time you're fighting against another physical god. It could be assassin, warrior, or hunter. And in that case, you definitely want to rush right into your Breastplate of Valor. If you may ask why, for 1, it's fairly cheap for a lot of good stats, a really high physical protection, and a cooldown reduction. Honestly, you can never get enough of cooldown reduction until you hit the cap. But what's cool about that is it goes really well with her ultimate, which is every 75 seconds, which is low enough as it is. So you go Breastplate, it goes down to 60 seconds, so every minute you can go ahead and just jump over a wall and stun somebody, and for ganks or whatever. So that's really cool. Now let's say if you're fighting against a mage in the solo lane, then my guess would probably go into Borg of Hope instead of Breastplate of Valor. And then still pick up Breastplate after Frostbound Hammer. So let's just go to Breastplate first. Now, next, it depends how much you value being aggressive. Like, if you want to be aggressive earlier, then I would probably go into Frostbound right after this. Now, if you want to just be more of just tanky and not trying to like stick to your targets to chase them down, then I'd probably say go into Borg right after Breastplate and then Frostbound. So that order, it kind of it's up to you. But regardless of what build you go into, either if it's just a tank build or a bruiser or just all auto attack, I would highly recommend getting the Frostbound Hammer. For 1, it complements Breastplate really well, because Breastplate has no health, and health is very important in Smite, and Frostbound provides 300 of that. As well as I mentioned before, the passive allows you to stick to your target. If you're fighting somebody that's attack speed based, like hunters, which you will mid to late game for team fights, this ensures you can reduce their attack speed. Just overall lower the DPS, and again, it's just all sticking to your target. Really, just a lot of good stats for a reasonable price. So after that, you definitely want to have some type of magical protection, and right now, as of this recording in Season 3, Borg of Hope is pretty much the go-to magical protection item for warriors. It just provides you with a lot of protection. Health, always important. The CCR, always great, so you can not be locked down for as long. And the passive grants you a health shield once you drop below 30% health. And that health shield is great against any targets. It could be the Fire Giant, because you don't know how to tank the Fire Giant. It could be great against physicals or magicals. doesn't really matter. Pretty much the go-to item. Now, let's say if you're laning against a Vamana or some healers or other high health regeneration gods, then I'd recommend going to Pestilence. This gives you even more magical protection, same health, and the aura reduces the healing and regeneration of enemies near you by 25%. So this is a really great counter to situational item. So that's why you would get that. So let's go into Borg of Hope. Right now, the pretty flavor item right now for damage for both like hunters, assassins, and even some warriors that are more basic attack base is definitely Shinsai's. The price has been reduced as of like season 2. Really great power spike. Attack speed's always great, and the passive allows you to ideally just penetrate their health since it has obviously no armor penetration. So there's 2 different ways to penetrate your targets, and that's definitely one way you can do so. So you can go into Shinsai's. If you're not a big fan of Shinsai's or Kinsai's, whatever you want to pronounce it, you can go into other items if you want like actual real penetration. You're probably going to Titan's Bane. If you want to try to go ahead and cap out your cooldown reduction, then I would recommend going to Yone's Wrath. You get the same amount of power, 40-40, and a 10 flat pin, which is not all that special late game, but this just provides you for the core stats, which is power, and cap cooldown reduction, which is 40%, which you get from 20 from Yone's and 20 from Breastplate of Valor. So those are some other go-to items. Actually, looking at it, you could probably go Stone Cutting Sword. This has been a pretty popular item as well. 50 physical power, movement speed is always great, so that movement speed can actually add to your Frostbite Hammer to ensure you can keep auto attacking while sticking to your target and not missing autos, if that kind of makes sense. And the passive, it kind of allows you of some type of physical protection and penetration. You absorb theirs and give it to yourself, ideally up to 30, so another 30 physical protections, if I can speak. So you can go into something like that. Those would be my recommended items if you don't want to go into Kins. But let's just go into that now. Death Stole, sell it whenever you don't need it. You can sell it for 800 gold. It's 800 gold, right? I believe so. I could be wrong. Yeah, well, it's because I haven't left base. But yeah, you can sell it for some gold, and you can finish off one of the other items you want to. And then, again, you can go into those other items that I mentioned previously. Now, going into something like a more casual game mode, you can go this build for other casual game modes. It's just you don't get the starter item. So let's just make that clear. But for other game modes besides Conquest, the build honestly doesn't change too much. But let's say personally for me, for like Arena or something like that, I go to Warrior Tabby. I'm a big fan of Hide the Urchins, so I go in the Hide the Urchins right after Boots, so you can start getting those stacks rolling. Cause caps at 10, it could take a while depending on the pace of the game. And then I would go into, let's say, Frostbound Hammer, start to get some of your damage online sooner, and then probably Breastplate. Don't want to delay your cooldown reduction too long, and then Borg of Hope, and then go into one of the other damage items that I mentioned previously. So let's just say like Shins or whatever. So you can go into something like this. I personally like to play my warriors more tanky, so that's my just personal preference. But hopefully, actually, let's go into relics before I end it. For the solo lane, if you don't know, typically solo laners go with the teleport. This allows you to get to and from base really quickly. Allows you to teleport to towers, and I believe also teleport to wards. Yes, you can also teleport to wards, so you can make some really hot plays with that. Because getting to a solo lane can take a while. Warriors are not the most quickest like assassins, but you can go into teleport and other relics just how you see fit, honestly. But hopefully this video can give you some help and just ideas on what to build for Bellona or for other warriors. Just give an idea of what to build. So yeah, hopefully it's helpful, and I'll see you guys next time. Peace.